Well, an FBI whistleblower has put Attorney General Merrick Garland and the DOJ in the hot seat again. The claims are that the DOJ nor the FBI were mobilizing, and the FBI, that is, were mobilizing against parents. The whistleblower released an internal email, a joint message from the Criminal Investigative Division and the Counterterrorism Division, which reads, in part, the Counterterrorism and Criminal Division created a threat tag, EDU officials to track instances of related threats. We ask that your offices apply the threat tag to investigations and assessments of threats specifically directed against school board administrators, board members, teachers, and staff. We'll have clearly looking to protect this kind of indoctrination in our schools, and with me to discuss all of this, Bob Silvestri of the 1776 Project, a political action committee dedicated to electing school board members who want to reform the public education system in a way that maybe we teach American history in an honest fashion. Bob, good to have you. It's an important project, and reining in Merrick Garland and all the rest of the people involved with this movement is important now, isn't it?
Absolutely, and thanks for having us on, Steve. We're 1776 Project. For those who want to reach out to us and help defend everybody's civil rights, it's 1776project.org, and we'd like to have you. We've been tracking this very closely, of course. Originally, I came on One America's Voice, and I actually called it what I thought it was, which is a war on parents. The Patriot Act authorities were never intended to be used on anybody else other than domestic terrorism. It's the equivalent of going after a mosquito with a bazooka. So what we've got right now is a little subterfuge and cover-up going on by A.G. Garland, saying, now we're not going to do this, but then the whistleblower let us know they are in fact doing it. Tagging, just like you would tag a human trafficker, according to the FBI, or a drug trafficker, and now parents. I don't think that's pleasant companies the parents should find themselves within right now, Steve.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing. Parents that want to be involved with their schools and their kids' education being labeled, smeared, I might be a better way to put it, by those on the left to call them domestic terrorists. Now, that's one thing. But for the Department of Justice and Merrick Garland to give it any credibility whatsoever is something entirely different and completely out of line. The idea that parents are terrorists because they want input, they want feedback, they want information about what their kids are being taught, that's what a parent should do. Newsflash to Merrick Garland, newsflash to this administration and to all of those progressives. I'm a parent. I take the job seriously, and I will be involved. That should be the message going forward, shouldn't it?
Absolutely. And if there's, again, a silver lining to this, is parents ought to be outraged. I'm outraged. I've got a 12-year-old daughter that's out in the system. The fact that I could be identified as a terrorist, guess what? I was there on 9/11 in the White House. I fought overseas in the war of terrorism. I sat there during the meetings when we discussed the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was never intended to be used against U.S. citizens to restrict or as a psychological operation on parents. It's exactly being used for the purpose the civil libertarians warned us about. And so what do we need to do? We need to get together and we need to stand up and we need to fight. In the 1776 Project, we asked you, hey, please become a 76er. And what's a 76er? For just $7.60 a month, we'll continue to do the hard fight. We've got to take this fight all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary to undo what they're doing. We're not going to be tagged. Parents are not going to be tagged in the same company as human traffickers, drug traffickers, and parents. And we have to defend the 10 amendments. And each and every American, hey, help us do it. Get involved, America. Go out there, support at the school boards. Let's overwhelm the system right now, and let's undo what they've done to set up this task force by Attorney General Garland. So support Jim Jordan, support the 1776 Project, and we'll get her done.
I have said for a very long time on this program, my morning radio program, that conservatives ignored the most basic building blocks of this republic by not being involved in the school board, not being involved in city council, not being involved in county commissions. In order to have real political power in this country, it starts right outside your front door. That's a fact. And so what you're doing, I think, is critically important. You have to have more people involved at the school board level. That way, the beliefs of the community can be addressed, because we all believe that they were teaching the same thing that we were taught and that our older kids were taught. America was a good place that fought for freedom and defended the world in world wars and stood up for human rights and all of these things, which we do every day. And obviously, if you look at the tens of thousands of people coming across the southern border, it must be a pretty good place to be, because America brings in 1 million legal immigrants a year, more than the rest of the world combined, Bob. We must be doing something right. We must not be this awful, racist, unfair place. At least that's what all the people of color coming across the southern border would seem to indicate. Or am I just out to lunch?
No, you're absolutely right. You know, my wife comes from Colombia. I met her down there, married her, and everyone wants to come to the United States of America. They wouldn't be coming here if it was such a racist, horrible place. But where we're at right now, we started teaching the Constitution to the kids quite a few years ago. And what we're doing right now is goal line defense. We've got to get back, exactly as you said, Steve. Got to get involved from our government should be bottom up, not top down like it is right now. How do we do that? Well, parents run for school boards. Parents run for county commissioners. Parents run for all the organizations you can at the grassroots level, and get involved. Get off the bench like I did. What brought me off the bench is when I saw the fact that we're teaching our kids stuff that's antithetical to the American experiment, like critical race theory, like the 1619 Project, and the other stuff. We lost universities. We lost the high schools in many cases. And the goal line defense right now is our kids' minds. Because once you get it in there before the age of reason, for the age of 12, it's hard to shake. So we've got to defend our kids. Come visit us at the 1776project.org. Become a 76er and do your part.
I agree with that. Become a 76er, do your part. Get involved at the local level. That is the key to what happens in your community. And that will translate into what happens at the next level and the next, and so forth. Bob, it is an important thing you're doing. Tell the folks again where they can find out more.
Yeah, come to 1776project.org, O-R-G. All we're asking folks to do is become a 76er. It's just $7.60 a month. Will help us continue to fight this. Now, also, we're looking for volunteers on our webpage. So if you've got the fire in the belly, you don't know what to do, for crying out loud, get off the bench, join us. We're having a lot of fun. Look, just like our founding fathers said, John Adams said, the essence of democracy is in the fight. If you find this distasteful, then you're not a part of democracy. You have to want to do this. You have to have the fire in the belly. Come visit us, become a 76er, and also join your local school board, and we'll help you do that.
All right, Bob, thank you for that, as always. And there you've got all the information. You can move forward and be involved with your community. You have to be. Otherwise, you see what can happen. Thank you, Bob. Coming up after the break, we'll have a look at your consumer news headlines, including what this holiday shopping season could look like and what products will be flying off the shelves this year for Christmas. What will it be? We'll talk about it straight ahead on America's Voice Live.